My sister announced at Thanksgiving, "Mom and Dad are signing the house to me. You get nothing." Everyone cheered. I smiled and said, "Dad, should I tell them, or will you?" His fork dropped. My sister screamed, "Tell us what?" The dining room went silent the second I said it. 20 people, forks frozen midair, wine glasses suspended, my mother's hand trembling on the stem of her Cabernet like she'd forgotten how to put it down. "Tell them about the mortgage," I said quietly. Dad's face drained of color so fast I thought he might pass out. "Michael, not now. The second mortgage you took out 3 years ago? The one you've been hiding from everyone? The one that means you're 6 months from foreclosure?" My sister Jessica lunged across the table, her chair screeching against the hardwood. "You're lying. You're a fucking liar." "Am I?" I pulled the manila folder from my messenger bag, slowly, deliberately, let everyone watch. I spread the papers across the turkey platter, right through the mashed potatoes and congealed gravy. Bank statements, foreclosure notices, loan documents with my parents' signatures. Or did none of you ever wonder why they suddenly needed Jessica to move back in? Why they've been so eager to gift her the house? My Aunt Karen grabbed the nearest document. Her manicured nails, the ones she'd just been using to gesture about her Mediterranean cruise, started shaking as her eyes scanned the numbers. "They can't afford it anymore," I continued, my voice steady, even though my heart was jackhammering against my ribs. "They thought if they signed it over to Jessica, she'd take over the payments without realizing what she was signing. $4,300 a month, Jess, due on the 1st, every month, for the next 27 years. Jessica's fiancé, Brad, stood up so fast, his chair toppled backward. "Wait, what? $4,000 a month? Sit down, Brad," Jessica hissed. "No, seriously, $4,000 a month? You told me the house was paid off. You said we'd live here rent-free while we save for the wedding." "It will be free," Jessica stammered, her eyes darting between Brad and our parents. "Right, Dad? You're giving it to me free and clear? That's what you said, free and clear." Dad couldn't look at her. He stared at his plate like the answer might be hidden under the slice of turkey he'd barely touched. My chest felt tight, watching this, like someone had wrapped steel cables around my lungs and was cranking them tighter with every breath. But I'd come too far to stop now. I'd driven 3 hours for this moment, practiced what I'd say in the car until the words felt like stones in my mouth, heavy, cold, unavoidable. Mom started crying, those delicate little sobs she did so well. "We were going to tell you after what?" I cut in. "After she signed the quitclaim deed? After it was too late to back out? After you'd successfully dumped $120,000 of debt onto your daughter?" My grandmother, Dad's mother, the woman who'd taught me to play chess and always slipped me a 20 when she thought no one was looking, slammed her hand on the table so hard the wine glasses jumped. "David Michael Thompson, is this true?" Dad's silence was louder than any confession. "You manipulative son of a bitch," my Uncle Tom said, and I'd never heard him swear before, not once in 38 years. "Your own daughter." Jessica's face twisted into something ugly, something desperate. "Michael probably made this all up. He's always been jealous of me. He's never forgiven me for being Dad's favorite." My hands clenched into fists under the table. The anger was a living thing in my chest, hot and writhing. "Call the bank then." I slid my iPhone across the table. It left a trail through the cranberry sauce. "The number's right there in my contacts. First National Bank. Ask them about the $78,000 you owe on the second mortgage. The one that's 180 days past due." Jessica stared at the phone like it might bite her. Didn't touch it. Didn't move. "You won't call because you already know," I said. "Want to know how I found out? Dad asked me for money 2 months ago. September 14th. He called me at work. Said it was for medical bills. Mom's surgery, he said. I told him I'd pay the hospital directly. That's when everything fell apart. That's when he confessed." "You should have helped him," Jessica shrieked, her voice cracking. "Instead, you're humiliating us in front of everyone. In front of Grandma, in front of Brad's parents." I offered to help. I offered to pay off $15,000 toward the mortgage. You know what Dad said? I looked around the table. Everyone was listening now. Aunt Karen had her phone out, probably already texting the family group chat. My cousin Rachel was recording on her phone, holding it low like I wouldn't notice. Uncle Tom had gone completely still, the way he did when he was furious. Brad's parents looked like they wanted to sink through the floor. "He said you deserved the house more because you stayed close, because you visit every Sunday, because you're the good daughter, the one who didn't abandon the family by moving to Chicago for a stupid job." My aunt's face went hard as granite. "So you were going to trick her into financial ruin? Your own child?" "We thought she'd figure it out eventually," Mom whispered, dabbing at her eyes with her napkin. The cloth came away streaked with mascara. "Before or after she signed?" my cousin Rachel asked. She was in law school. She knew exactly what she was asking. Brad grabbed his coat from the back of his chair. "I'm done. Jessica, I'm not marrying into this circus. I'm not signing up for a lifetime of debt and lies." "Brad, wait, please!" Jessica chased him toward the front door, her heels clicking frantically on the hardwood. I heard her pleading, crying, begging. The slam of the door echoed through the entire house. My throat burned. My eyes stung, but I stayed quiet. Let the silence do the work. Let them all sit with what they'd just learned. Jessica came back 30 seconds later, mascara running down her cheeks in black rivers, her lipstick smeared where she'd tried to kiss Brad before he left. laughed. You did this, she said, her voice hoarse. You ruined everything. My engagement, Thanksgiving, my entire life. You couldn't just let me be happy. I saved you, I said quietly. You're welcome. We needed you, Dad said weakly, finally looking up. His eyes were bloodshot. Both of you. As a family, we could have. You used us, I interrupted. There's a difference between needing help and setting a trap. I stood up. My legs felt shaky, but I didn't let it show. My grandmother touched my arm, her grip surprisingly strong for 82. How much do they really owe? Total? $78,000 on the second mortgage, another $42,000 on the first. That's if they pay it all off today. If it goes to foreclosure, they'll owe more. Fees, legal costs, penalties. Jesus Christ, Uncle Tom muttered. 120 grand. Jessica collapsed back into her chair, staring at the papers like they were written in a foreign language. I don't have that kind of money. I make $40,000 a year at the dental office. Brad makes 50. We were barely going to afford the wedding. Nobody has that kind of money just lying around, I said. That's the whole point. They were going to drown you. Mom sobbed harder, her whole body shaking. We're going to lose everything. The house, our retirement, everything. You already lost it, my grandmother said, her voice colder than I'd ever heard it. The moment you decided to deceive your own children instead of asking for help honestly, the table erupted. Aunt Karen yelling at Dad about responsibility and trust. Uncle Tom demanding to see the full mortgage documents, all the paperwork, everything. My cousins taking photos of the papers with their phones, zooming in on the account numbers and due dates. Jessica crying into her hands, her shoulders heaving. Brad's car starting outside, the engine revving hard before the tires screeched, pulling away. Mom begging everyone to calm down, to remember it was Thanksgiving, to please just. Dad sitting there, silent, defeated, staring at nothing. And me? I picked up my coat from where I'd draped it over the back of my chair hours ago, back when I'd walked in and everyone had hugged me and told me how good I looked and asked about Chicago. Walked toward the door. Michael, wait. Jessica's voice, raw, broken. I stopped, turned around. Her face was a mess. Snot, tears, smudged makeup. She looked younger than 28. She looked like she had when we were kids, and she'd fallen off her bike and scraped both knees bloody. You destroyed Thanksgiving. You destroyed my engagement. You destroyed everything I had. No, I said quietly. I exposed what they were going to do to you, what they tried to do to me first. The room went silent again. Even Mom stopped crying. What do you mean? Jessica whispered. I took a breath, let it out slow. 6 months ago, May 3rd, they called me, both of them on speakerphone, asked me to come home for the weekend, said it was urgent. When I got here, they sat me down at this same table and asked me to co-sign the house, told me it was just a formality, a refinancing thing, that they'd pay everything, I'd never see a bill, they just needed a second name for better rates. I could feel everyone staring at me. I almost did it. I had the pen in my hand. Dad had the papers already, but something felt wrong. The way Mom wouldn't look at me, the way Dad kept saying, it's just a formality, over and over like he was trying to convince himself. So what did you do? Rachel asked. I told them I needed my lawyer to look at it first. Dad's face went white. He tried to say that wasn't necessary, that we were family, that it was insulting I didn't trust them. But I held firm, took the documents with me back to Chicago. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to a specific photo, held it up so everyone could see. It was a screenshot of an email. My lawyer, Angela Reeves at Morrison & Associates. She took one look and called me immediately. Said under no circumstances should I sign. Then I got suspicious and pulled the property records. Public information. Anyone can do it. Found out about the second mortgage, the missed payments, 3 months behind at that point. The foreclosure notices that had already been sent. Jessica's face went white, actually white, like every drop of blood had drained straight to her feet. If I'd co-signed, I'd be legally responsible for $120,000 of debt. They would have destroyed my credit, my savings, my entire financial future. And you know what the kicker is? When I confronted them about it, when I drove back here and demanded an explanation, you know what Dad said? Nobody spoke. He said, we thought you'd understand. You make good money in Chicago. You don't have kids. You can afford it. Like it was my responsibility to bail them out of whatever financial decisions they'd made. What decisions? Grandma asked sharply. What did you spend it on, David? Dad's jaw worked. No sound came out. The second mortgage, I said, was taken out 34 months ago. $78,000. Cash out. I pulled the bank records. Want to know where it went? Mom made a sound like a wounded animal. A boat, a 32-foot cabin cruiser. Bought it for $65,000 cash. The rest went to maintenance and docking fees at the marina because Dad decided he needed a retirement hobby. You bought a boat? Uncle Tom's voice could have stripped paint. You put your house in jeopardy for a fucking boat? We thought we'd pay it back, Dad whispered, before anyone noticed, before it became a problem. Well, it's a problem now, I said. And when I wouldn't co-sign, when I made it clear I wasn't going to let you use me as your personal ATM, you moved on to plan B. Jessica, my sister's face crumpled. They said they wanted me close, that they were getting older, that the house was too big for just the two of them, that if I moved home, they'd help with the wedding, I could save money, it would be like old times. And you believed them because why wouldn't you? I said, and I meant it. They're our parents. We're supposed to trust them. This is insane, Brad's mother said from the corner. I'd forgotten she was was even there. You were going to saddle my son with this debt without telling him? Brad didn't need to know, Mom said defensively. The house would be in Jessica's name only. They're getting married. Brad's dad stood up. Do you understand how marital debt works? Do you understand what you were about to do to our family? The yelling started again, louder this time. My uncle demanding Dad sell the boat immediately. My aunt saying that wouldn't be enough. They needed to sell the house, downsize, declare bankruptcy if necessary. Rachel pulling up foreclosure law on her phone, reading out loud about timelines and legal options. Grandma sitting there, stone-faced, looking at her son like she didn't recognize him. Jessica just sat there, staring at nothing. I walked over to her, crouched down next to her chair. I know you hate me right now, I said quietly, just for her. But in 6 months, maybe a year, you're going to realize I just saved your life. Brad too, probably. You were about to sign away your future for a lie. She looked at me. Her eyes were empty. How long have you known about them trying to trap you? 2 months. Dad called me September 14th asking for money. Said it was for medical bills. When I said I'd pay the hospital directly, he broke down. Told me everything. The debt, the foreclosure timeline, the plan to give you the house. He actually asked me to keep quiet about it. Said if I really loved the family, I'd let them handle it their way. Why didn't you tell me right away? I tried. 3 times. Called you, texted, even drove down one weekend. You were always with Mom and Dad or busy, or you'd say, not now, I'm planning the wedding. They made sure I could never get you alone. She looked at the papers spread across the table. Is it really that bad? It's worse. I didn't mention the credit card debt, another $18,000 across 4 cards, or the personal loan from Dad's brother in Florida, 12 grand, or the, stop, she whispered. Just stop. I stood up. My knees cracked. I felt 1,000 years old. For what it's worth, I said, I really am sorry about Brad, but better to find out now than after you're married and legally tied to all of this. He's not coming back, she said dully. I know he's not. His parents have been pushing him to reconsider the engagement for months. They think I'm beneath him. This just gave him the excuse he needed. Then he's an idiot and you deserve better. She laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. Do I? I was about to let them trap me. I was so desperate to feel special, to feel chosen, that I didn't ask any questions. You're smarter than me. You always have been. That's not— Yes, it is, she said firmly. And we both know it. I made it to the front hallway before my grandmother caught up with me. For someone who complained about her hip, she moved pretty fast when she wanted to. You did the right thing, she said. Doesn't feel like it. It never does. But sometimes love looks like a wrecking ball. Sometimes you have to destroy the lie before you can build something true. I nodded. Didn't trust my voice. I'm calling my financial advisor tomorrow, she continued. I have some money set aside. Not enough to save the house, but enough to help them find an apartment. Somewhere small, manageable. They're going to have to learn to live within their means. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm furious with them, but they're still my son and daughter-in-law, and I won't let them be homeless. She paused. What about you? Are you really okay? I will be. Your father will never forgive you for this. I know. Your mother will try to make you the villain. She'll tell everyone you humiliated them on purpose, that you enjoyed it. I know that too. She hugged me, hard. She smelled like lavender and peppermint, the same as always. You're a good man, Michael. Better than they deserve. Don't let them make you forget that. I left through the front door, didn't look back. The texts started before I even got to my car. Jessica, I hate you. Then but thank you. Then I don't know what to feel. Then Brad blocked me. I didn't respond. Anything I said would be wrong. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered anyway. Is this Michael Thompson? A woman's voice. Professional. Crisp. Yes? This is Detective Sarah Vance with the Cook County Fraud Division. We received a tip about a potential mortgage fraud scheme involving your parents and sister. Do you have a few minutes to talk? My stomach dropped. What? Who called you? I'm not at liberty to say. But if what we've been told is accurate, your parents may have attempted to commit fraud by transferring property with known encumbrances without full disclosure to the recipient. That's a Class 3 felony in Illinois. Oh God. I didn't call you, I said quickly. I didn't report them. I would never— We understand that, Mr. Thompson, but we still need to investigate. Would you be willing to come in and provide a statement? You're not in any trouble. We just need to understand what happened. I sat in my car in my parents' driveway, watching the house where I'd grown up, where my grandmother was probably trying to referee World War III, where my sister was discovering that fairy tales don't have second mortgages. I need to think about it, I said. Of course. Here's my direct number. Please call me within 48 hours. She hung up. I sat there for another 10 minutes, hands on the steering wheel, not moving. My phone buzzed again. Rachel. FYI, I didn't call the cops, but I think Aunt Karen did. She's pissed. Rachel. Also, you should prob know Jessica's having a breakdown in the bathroom. Rachel. Like a real one. Rachel. Mom and Grandma are with her. Rachel. Her dad tried to leave and Uncle Tom blocked the door. Rachel. This is insane, Rachel, but also maybe the most honest Thanksgiving we've ever had. I started the car. 3 days later, I got a call from my mother. The detective came to the house, she said without preamble. No hello. No how are you. She had a warrant. She took all our financial documents, David's laptop, everything. Mom, Karen called them. Your own aunt called the police on us. Can you believe that? Family doesn't do that to family. Family doesn't commit fraud against each other either, I said. I was at my kitchen table in Chicago, watching snow fall past my window. But here we are. You could make this go away. You could tell them it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't wasn't a misunderstanding. It was intentional deception. You're going to send your father to prison? Her voice broke. Your own father? I didn't call the police. I didn't file a report. I just told the truth at a family dinner. Whatever happens now is a consequence of what you and Dad chose to do. We were desperate. Then you should have asked for help. Real help. Honest help. Instead, you tried to destroy Jessica's life and mine. Don't ask me to feel guilty about that. Silence on the line. Then, she's not doing well. Jessica, she's on antidepressants now. She hasn't left her apartment in 3 days. My chest tightened. Is she safe? Physically, yes. But Michael, she's falling apart. She lost Brad. She lost the house. She lost her whole future. She didn't lose anything real, I interrupted. She lost a fantasy, a lie. Brad wasn't right for her anyway, and you know it. He was controlling, condescending. She was settling because she thought she didn't deserve better. And the house was never hers, was never going to be hers. Mom, you were going to put her $120,000 in debt. You were going to destroy her credit, her savings, her entire financial future. And when she inevitably couldn't make the payments, what then? Foreclosure? Bankruptcy? You think that's better than what happened Thursday night? Mom started crying. The real kind this time, not the delicate sobs. We made mistakes, she whispered. We made terrible mistakes. But we're still your parents. We still love you. Then you should have acted like it. I hung up, felt sick immediately after, but I didn't call back. A week later, Jessica called. The detective wants to meet with me, she said. She says I'm not in trouble, but she needs my statement. Are you going to go? I don't know. If I cooperate, they might press charges against Mom and Dad. If I don't, I might look complicit. You're not complicit. You were a victim. Was I though? Or was I just stupid and desperate? I thought about that. Can it be both? She laughed. It sounded more real this time. My therapist says I need to stop making excuses for them. That I've been conditioned to accept emotional manipulation as love. Smart therapist. She's helping. Slowly. Jessica paused. I'm sorry for the things I said on Thanksgiving. You were right. You did save me. I wasn't ready to see it yet. I know. Are Mom and Dad going to prison? I don't know. Depends on what the prosecutor decides. Could be charges, could be a settlement, could be nothing. White-collar stuff is hard to prosecute. Good, she said. I don't want them in prison. I just want them to stop lying. Yeah, I said softly. Me too. 4 months later, the detective called me on a Tuesday afternoon while I was in a meeting. We're not pressing charges, she said. Insufficient evidence of criminal intent. It looks more like stupidity than fraud. I felt something in my chest unclench. What happens now? They're being forced to sell the house. The bank's accelerating the foreclosure process. Your grandmother helped them secure a small apartment in Naperville. They'll be fine. Broke, but fine. And Jessica? Not involved. She never signed anything, never took possession, never assumed the debt. She's clear. Thank you for telling me. Mr. Thompson, can I say something off the record? Sure. You did the right thing. I see a lot of families in my line of work. Most of them protect the abuser because facing the truth is too painful. You didn't do that. You protected your sister even though it cost you everything. That takes guts. My throat felt tight. It doesn't feel like guts. It feels like I nuked my whole family. Sometimes, she said gently, that's what the truth does. But the thing about nukes is they clear the ground. New things can grow after. 6 months later, I got a text from Jessica at 11:47 p.m. on a Saturday. Remember how you said I deserved better than Brad? You were right. His name is Marcus. He's a physical therapist. He thinks it's funny that I'm terrible at yoga, and he knows about Thanksgiving. I told him everything on the second date. He didn't run. I think you'd like him. I smiled at my phone in my dark bedroom. Send me a picture, she did. A selfie of her and a guy with a warm smile and kind eyes. They were at a restaurant. She looked happy. Really happy. Not the desperate, performative happy she'd done with Brad. Real joy. He's got a good face. I texted back. Bring him for Christmas? We're doing Christmas? I'm doing Christmas with you, I replied. And Grandma. And whoever else wants to show up. New traditions. Mom and Dad? I thought about that. If they want to come, they can. But no more lies. No more schemes. No more family means you owe us. Just honest, small, real deal, she wrote. Then, I love you. I should say that more. Love you too, I typed. Even when you hate me. Especially when I hate you. That's when you deserve it most. I fell asleep smiling.